Okay, anytime that I do a demo, I'm going to record it. So what you will actually see if you are absent or if you just need me to go back or you want to go back and watch the video because you didn't catch a part, I will always have the link posted on Moodle. So if you happen to miss a demo day and obviously I'm not going to sit here through class and go through the demo again. Okay, but the video will be available to you on Moodle. I will set up a link. For example, this is chapter 2, and it's probably going to take us more than just today. So I'll put chapter 2 demo part 1 for today, and then when I record it tomorrow, I will label it chapter 2 demo part 2. Okay, that way if you need access to it, it's available to you. It becomes more helpful, obviously, if you're absent and you miss a demo day when I'm showing you how to do something. Okay, so we're going to get into actually creating our very first really basic web page. A couple of tools on TextPad that are very helpful. The first one is numbering your lines. That just kind of helps you, especially at the beginning. We can set TextPad to automatically number your lines. You don't want to type like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth because that's going to show up on your code. So what it's going to do is just kind of gray out the numbers so that you know what line that you are on. So if you go up to, I'm hovering over your shoulder here, if you go up to View on the menu bar and then come down to line number, it will number the lines. As you're typing, it will just automatically number those lines, but it's not part of the code, okay? Sometimes it's just useful to kind of match up, or if I say, okay, I'm right around line number 20 is where I'm going to put this line of code, that can kind of give you a springboard of where I am, okay? So I tell students, first thing every day, grab a book, go ahead and get TextPad open. Because that's all we're going to be doing this semester is from TextPad. The second thing I would do after I told it to do line numbers is I would set the text wrapping as well. So if you go back up to View, I think it's View, give me a second here, I'm going to hover over her shoulder. Try Tools actually, let's go to Tools on the menu bar at the top. Click off of that because I'm pretty sure I know the button. So just click off of the menu. Okay, if you guys see the button, that is about halfway through the toolbar. It looks like a backwards S. It's called Word Wrap. If you hover over it, backwards S is Word Wrap. If you don't turn Word Wrap on when you start typing, it'll just keep on going off the screen over to the side, and so then it makes an endless scroll bar across the top. Whereas if you set Word Wrap, okay, once it gets to the end of the screen, it'll wrap back around to the other side, okay, which makes that a lot easier too. Okay, so just routine things I would get myself into the habit of is when you come in, grab a book. When you get logged onto your computers, just go ahead and open up TextPad. Okay, the two things that I would set for TextPad is turn on the line numbers and turn on the word wrap. Okay. All right, now here's something that I always forewarn everyone because it's super tempting to do, okay? And that is to just look at the book and mindlessly type in the code. Okay, that can get you through the demo, and that'll be okay to do during the demo. But when you get to the end of the chapter where you have to do projects, or when Mrs. Fox gives you projects, okay, then you're not going to know what the code is doing and what it is that you need to know to accomplish each task, because at the end of the chapter it doesn't give you any code, and then whenever I give you projects, I'm not going to give you any code. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I mean, if you're a really quick typer and you're a little ahead of us, that's okay. But I always kind of forewarn against the mindless typing because you're not retaining anything, you're just mindlessly typing, and then when you get to the end of the chapter or the project, then you don't know what code you're supposed to put where. All right, so let's take a look at page 35. At the top of page 35, this is what our web page is going to look like when we're finished. It is a rock climbing themed web page. And then when we look underneath that,
Okay, this is going to be all the code that we're going to type in to make this web page. Okay, I'm going to go through and explain to you what each tag does, and then I'm going to, there's some tags that really are obsolete that they're using in here that we're not going to use. Okay, so I use the book as a guide, just so you guys have something to look at here, and then I will be typing it up on the screen as well. Just note that sometimes I go off the book because sometimes they put extra code that isn't necessary, or sometimes things are obsolete and we do it a little different way now. So I stick to the book as much as possible, but you know, don't hold me to it kind of thing, because sometimes I make corrections or tell you a better method, okay, on accomplishing those tasks. All right, let's turn to page 43, because I want to talk about kind of the tags that you use for every website that you're going to create, okay? On page 43, at the top, okay, we have the doc type tag. We're going to type all of these tags in every document, every web page that you ever create in here are going to have at least these tags, okay? Because the doc type tag, and yes, you have to have the exclamation point in front of it, is the indicator to the browser that what it's about to look at is an HTML document. Then we have our beginning HTML tag, which is the tag itself that says, okay, everything from this point on is written in HTML language. All right, notice we have a beginning head tag on line 4 and an ending head tag on line 7. Your meta character set and your title always, always, always go inside of the head tag, because anything that is in the head tag are things that are going on behind the scenes. So when we type all this in and we preview it in the browser, we're still going to have a blank web page. But anything that needs to be happening behind the scenes, like we need to tell it that when it says meta character set UTF-8, we're telling it basically that we're going to be, this is in English, okay? And the title, here's where people get confused about the title. The title is not text that's going to show up on your page. The title, okay, so you guys think about when you're searching on browsers, okay? And you open up a tab, there's usually a label in the tab, correct? Where it tells you what the page is. Okay, that's the title. Okay, the title is not actual text on your page. Okay, so we can go ahead and get this typed in. Now, something that I want to kind of give you the option as the coder. Some people like to do, like doc type HTML, just for good coding practices, is always done in uppercase. Your tags itself, okay, are not case sensitive. So you can type them in uppercase or you can type them in lowercase. I'm just going to tell you that you need to pick one method or the other and stick with it. So as I am typing doc type HTML, because the typical practice is for it to be in all caps, I'm making that all caps. But I like to type my tags in all lowercase. So I'm going to type them all in lowercase. You don't ever, it's just not good coding practices. You don't ever want to like mix it up and have some of your tags be uppercase and some be lowercase. Okay, because in the real world, usually you're working with a team of web developers, and so more than one person is working on a page at a time. And it's very frustrating to try to read when tags are mixed. So when you have mixed uppercase and mixed lowercase. All right, yesterday we talked a little bit about beginning and ending tags. So far, we have a head tag and we have ended the head tag, right? Okay, and within the head tag, we have this meta character set. That is one of those exceptions to the rule where it doesn't have to have its own ending tag because it's not text that's going to show up anywhere. Okay, remember I showed you guys the example of the horizontal line. Okay, if you wanted a horizontal line on your page, it doesn't require a beginning and an ending tag. It's all in one. It's HR space backslash. Okay, because when you're dealing with a horizontal line, you're not dealing with text. Okay, same with this. We're just telling it what language we are typing it in as far as English. Okay, now when we get to the title tag, yes, we're dealing with text again, correct? Even though it's not text that's on our page, it's text that shows up in that little window of the browser, okay? We're still dealing with text. We have a beginning tag and an ending tag, okay? The ending tag is always represented by a backslash followed by the name of the tag. So we're turning it on and then we're turning it off, okay? We've done the same thing with the ending head tag. We have a beginning head tag up there, and now we're finished with the head section. Just always remember, everything that is within that head section are things that are occurring behind the scenes. So that means it's important information that the browser needs, but it's never anything that is physically on your page. All right, what else needs to be ended? What have we started and we have not ended? Everyone take a guess? It's not a trick question.
HTML.
Yes, the HTML. So here's what I do to get myself into the habit. I just hit enter a bunch of times and come down here and do my ending HTML because I know, obviously I'm going to have things on my page, and the ending HTML tag is always the very last tag that will be in your code. Okay, but Mrs. Fox is a big meanie, and I take off points whenever you leave that off. Okay, because I want to get you into the habit of good coding skills. All right, so everything in the middle here, okay, we can basically say is the body of the web page. So it doesn't matter, like when I press enter here and make a space, that doesn't make a space on your website. Okay, all of you are going to basically come up with your own coding style. I'm super OCD, so I kind of like to section my stuff off by spaces. So I hit an enter after the ending head tag, and now I'm going to type the body tag. And then right above the ending HTML tag, I'm going to put the ending body tag. I'm also a super visual learner, so for me, whenever I can section these off by spaces between my code, it makes it easier for me to go back and find things. But you guys will get comfortable with things that you like, okay, or the way that you like to space your sections out, or the different things that you like to do within your code to make it easy for you, okay? It always seems confusing at the very beginning for students. They think that every time they hit enter on here, that's putting space on their web page, and it's not. We have to code in spaces, okay, if we're going to create space on our web page. All right, so this is basically the shell of every web page that you're ever going to create. So every web page you're ever going to create is always going to need all of these tags. Now the title is going to change from web page to web page because they're all going to be something different, okay? And everything in the body section, okay, as you see as we start developing this, is going to change. But these are the bare minimum code that you're going to need for every page that you create in here, okay? So typically, this is the sort of stuff that people start memorizing. I'm not saying you have to, but you'll find yourself in about a month, you guys can rattle this stuff off. You can type these in immediately because you've done it so many times and you know that this is the basic code that you're going to need for every page. Okay, so any questions about how any of this is set up, what each of these tags mean, what they do, how to turn things on and off? Okay, well, we'll move on. All right, so we've got the shell. We need to enter in the text that's going to show up on our web page. Let's turn to page 48. On page 48, they use article and section tags. I don't ever want you guys to use article and section tags because there's really no point, okay? We're going to use a P tag to establish that this is a paragraph of text. I don't like doing extra work that I don't have to do. I don't know about you guys, but them throwing this article and section tags in here serves zero purpose, okay? It has no effect whatsoever on our website. So I don't like doing extra work. I'm not going to make you guys do it. Anytime you see in the book that they've given you an article or a section tag, you can just go right over that, okay? Because we don't use them in here. They're really unnecessary. I'm not sure why the authors of this book decided to throw those in, because I think it's ridiculous to type more than you already have to type. All right, so on page 48, starting there at line 13, on page 48, we're putting in a P tag. A P tag represents, hey browser, this is going to be a paragraph of text that you see that I'm going to type in, okay? The P tag needs to come under the body tag, and then we can type in the text. And when we finish with the paragraph, we're going to need an ending P tag so that we can say, okay, we are done with this paragraph. after you type your paragraph of text, okay, obviously that's a lot of text to type where you can make some mistakes and errors. Okay, this is always a good point to run your spell checker. Okay, there's a button on your toolbar. If I remember right, it's a check mark with an ABC. Yep. Check mark with an ABC. If you click on that, it will run spell check so that if you've mistyped anything, it'll correct it for you. If it's tags that it doesn't recognize, you can skip right past that. But I think for the most part, it picks up the misspelled words. Does it pick up all the tags too when you run it? Yes, no, maybe? I can't remember.
You just select the text you type.
Yeah, okay. I thought it did. Okay. I thought it did, but I wasn't sure. Since I'm using a different program, I always have to double check with you guys on the text pad. It's important for you to run spell check because when I grade your assignments, I will take off for spelling errors. And if you've got a tool like a spell checker built in, okay, I expect you to click the button and make the computer do the work. Okay? Because anyone who looks at websites, I mean, you guys know this, if it has a bunch of typos and misspelled words on it, do you think it's a valid website, or are you going to listen to anything that is on that website? Probably not. All right, we've typed quite a bit. We don't want to lose what we have, so we want to save. Now, we've got a special way that we have to save, so let's go to File, Save As. Now, when saving HTML files, they always have to have the .html file extension. This is just kind of my thing, and students who kind of follow this realize after we get going here how much this makes it easier. I always spell my file names, especially dealing with HTML files, with all lowercase, no spaces. Because later on, when I refer and make links to these pages, if there's spaces and uppercase and it has all kinds of crazy stuff in it, you have to type all of that in exactly. If you get to just start naming things all lowercase, no spaces, then it's really easy to make links. We're going to call this rock climbing, all lowercase, no spaces, .html. And you guys need to make sure that you're saving this to your W or your network drive. Okay? Now, if you want to organize your drive by chapters or whatever you want to do, that's completely up to you. You guys manage your own files. Okay? I just want you to be sure for today that you have saved rock climbing before we go. It's Wednesday, isn't it?
Did we save it as a text file?
No, .html. It has to be saved as .html. Okay, and we'll pick up here tomorrow. I gotta get back into the groove of Wednesdays and Wednesday schedules.